Hey y'all, Mike from Cardboard Kingdom. Welcome back to another Disney Lorcana video. Today's the 18th of November. I hope you all had an amazing Azurite Sea opening weekend. We had a fantastic time with the set. Opened several boxes. Opened the Stitch Collector's Box, which is an amazing product. The binder in there is very similar to the Pokemon 151 binder, if you're familiar with that product. But the Stitch promo inside of the box has an enchanted foil, which is very cool to see. Just add some additional collectability. It's not an extended art or alt art or anything like that. It's just the traditional artwork, but it does have the enchanted foil. Makes it extra shiny, so that is nice. That product is really fun, and we were fortunate enough to pull the Tiana, which was very, very cool to see. So we were very fortunate there. Ends up being the most expensive card thus far at $181 right now. So in terms of expected value, we did really, really good. I do want to talk about expected value today, talk about the prices, the set as a whole, some cards to look out for. That's kind of the game plan for today's video. Quick and dirty, Azurite Sea winners, and what to be on the lookout for. So the top three in terms of enchanteds are definitely Tiana, Baymax, and Wreck-It Ralph. We do have some others that are holding strong. This is ranked by market price, which tends to be a little bit wrong. Like you'll see that Wreck-It Ralph is in the third place at 113, but lowest list. But Tigger has 130 low list with 22 listings on the market, which is lower than everything except for Tiana. So, when you look at the top three on market price, where you're looking at Baymax, Wreck-It Ralph, and Tiana, but when you look at quantity and price swings and things like that, you might be looking closer to like Tiana and Tigger might be the most too expensive when things are all said and done. There's also a lot of buy pressure on the You Came Back, which is currently sitting at 145. I don't expect this to stay at 145, but the demand for the card is there. So a ton of sales, mid 100 range down to under 100 to, early 100s there. So a lot of price action on this card. Clearly a card that people are fancying in terms of, maybe looking for a playset and things like that. But the biggest surprise to me, I guess, is the Sugar Rush Speedway holding strong at 68 right now when its counterpart of Treasure Mountain is down at 34. Clearly one that people are going to be using a lot of racers and just locations to bounce back and forth from, and a card that's going to do really well. So 67 for a location, which is very, very strong. Overall, guys, I've said this before. I do expect all of these prices to come down. I don't know how many enchantments from this set are going to be even over $100. There might be a couple, right? But I don't expect too many of them. I think we're in a great selling opportunity now. Getting into selling and expected value, we are sitting at 135 as of this morning in terms of expected value from Azurite Sea. That is falling off very, very soon. It's probably dropping every minute, right? As more boxes get open, more supply hits the market. But right now, 135 is the expected value for Azurite Sea, and that's gonna continue to drop. So it's gonna make sense for us to list a lot of the cards and singles that we don't need or that we don't want to collect, to get it out to the players before more and more demand or more supply hits the market, rather. But that's kind of the general consensus of the set. I'd love to hear how your guys' experience with Azurite Sea went. Ours was very, very fun. We had a great time opening it. Love the inclusion of Big Hero 6. Overall, the enchanted foils, I'm still, they're whatever. I love the theme of the set. I love the set. I love that they're telling a story with it. The foils, they're not my favorite. I prefer the traditional enchanteds, but that's okay. That's all right. So getting into the legendaries, guys, the winners of the legendaries, Maui Half Shark is definitely the winner thus far. Lowest list on the market is $31, and when you look at a cold foil for this card, you're looking at $48. Lowest listing on the market. There's a ton of volume for this card, so people are buying it pretty consistently, and that is definitely where a lot of the value for the box is coming from. Maui currently sitting at $30. Every set historically has had like a $30 or so legendary, whether it's Diablo, whether it is Simba. What's the highest one from Shimmering Skies? I can't remember. But we have Sad Beast, we have Robin Hood, we have Rapunzel, right? There's always like a one or two legendaries that are kind of $30 or more from each set. It would appear that Maui is going to be holding it down for this set. And the cards that I'm going to hit on here, like the next card we're going to talk about is Oswald. It's not the most expensive card, currently sitting at $18. And actually, a fun fact about this one, Cold Foil is pretty much the same price. So if you are in the market for an Oswald, I would advise going out and get some Cold Foil variants. because I doubt that these two are going to remain in lockstep in terms of price for very long. So there's kind of an irregularity right there in terms of the cold foil Oswald. But when you look at overall listings available on the market, Maui down at 52, Oswald down at 73 listings. Then you look at things like Baymax and Simba, 141 listings for Simba, 157 for Baymax, 103 for Tiana. So these two legendaries between Oswald and Maui are definitely seeing the most traction in terms of just demand. Now, Oswald isn't staying there in terms of price. Simba still has a higher price, but I expect Oswald to probably outpace Simba just based on the sheer demand for the card and how many are available. When we switch over to super rares, Lilo is definitely going to be our best bet here in terms of value. Lowest listing on the market is about $8 right now when you include shipping. When you look at the cold foil version of this card, you're pretty much doubling the price up to almost $17 for that particular super rare. And that is definitely the winner as it relates to super rares. Next kind of big cards are going to be the Genie and the Calhoun rare variants. We'll pull up Genie here real quick. Lowest on the market is $6 for this card. You can see there's been an absolute ton of value. We're talking over 1,500 that are over 1,000, over 1,200 that have been purchased thus far. Only 3 cold foils on the market, sitting at $20 lowest listings. Same in the same kind of conversation, honestly, as it relates to rares. Hopping over to Calhoun, absolute insane amount of volume, 738 for this 3-day period. You look at it before that, you're looking at 534 that have been sold. Lowest on the market is essentially $5, and then you're going up to close to $6. You look at a cold foil version of this card, looking at $12. So the cold foil prices for some of these legendary super rares and rares is where a lot of the value is right now. And so be on the lookout if you're looking to get rid of any of these cards. The cold foil versions are commanding a significant premium. And these are really the cards that are seeing the most demand between the Maui, the Oswald, the Lilo, and the Calhoun, and Genie. In terms of legendary super rares and rares, that's where a lot of the value is, guys. So if you're not playing these particular colors, or you don't even you don't want to collect these cards, etc., going to be a great time to sell them. Now, with that being said, there's a lot of demand on these cards, and we could definitely see them coming up. A card like the Calhoun or the Genie, I mean, they're rares, right? So there's a ton of them out there on the market, and they are getting bought up like crazy. So there's something to be said that these are only going up. The Genie only has 14 available on the entire market. 14 listings. Calhoun only has 45. So these cards that are very highly sought after, when we look at other rares that have a lot of popularity, like the Maui, Maui's sitting around like $10 right now from the first chapter. So, it's not uncommon that we see these rares get up to $10 or higher. And so I would say we've got a lot of room to go on these cards, or a lot of opportunity. So just keep that in mind. Obviously, there's going to be more supply that hits the market, and so we're going to have to test lists as more and more continue to come. But right now, those are your strongest performers in kind of the legendary tiers. Through the rare tiers, only one super rare that's performing very well, which is the Lilo, and then your second most valuable super rare is the Alice Savvy Sailor. Let's take a look at her cold foil really quick as well. 726, so not too great as it relates to some of the other cards, but those are definitely your clear winners. As we get into the common and uncommon side of things, not too many cards to point out there, but there are always a few. The first one being the Diablo. Lowest listing on the market for this uncommon is $85. So once again, just a ton of sales, 858, 465, over 1,000 that have been purchased already. Cold foil for this card, $8 for this uncommon. So when you think about the Alice super rare cold foil is only $6, $7. You look at the Diablo cold foil, and you are seeing even a higher price there for the uncommon version, which is pretty crazy. But a lot of popularity on this card, a lot of demand for it. $8 cold foil price for that. Next most valuable uncommon is the Microbots, which is sitting at a $57 low, or $57, 57-cent low list. You look at the cold foil coming in at $1.58, so not as near as much as a premium as the Diablo, but still a pretty good value there. And then as it relates to commons, our most valuable card is definitely the Sail the Azurite Sea action card. 30 cents lowest listing. Next lowest listing is 75 cents. So pretty good deal there from the Hourglass shop for this one particular listing. Looks like this card is going to be very meta and going to command a significant premium for as it relates to a common. And your lowest on the market is $9 for a cold foil, and you've got quite a few that are holding around 10 to 15. So some of these cards are seeing exorbitant premiums in the cold foil version, and so it's always worth noting that as you're looking at what did you pull and what maybe can you sell and what should you hold on to. Obviously, I can't see the future. I don't know what cards are going to go up or going to go down. I'm just looking at where the demand is, and right now it's kind of these cards that we went through here: Maui, Oswald, Lilo, super rare, Calhoun, Genie, Diablo, Microbots, Seal the Azurite Sea. This is where the listings are the lowest. 61 for an uncommon for Diablo and Microbots. Then when you look at Seal the Azurite Sea, only 84. Then some of the rares and super rares and legendaries that we looked at were very low. This is where the meta is going. This is where the players want. This is where the price action is. And so these are the ones that if you are strictly a collector, probably makes the most sense to get rid of, because these are commanding the most significant premium. So that's what I wanted to at least put you guys on today. Would love to hear your thoughts for the set as a whole. I remain steadfast that the Enchanteds are cool. Love what they did with the set. But for example, this Tiana that's, it's $180, $190, whatever. I think that getting rid of this card and, throwing on an additional like 20 or 30 to get the Mufasa from Shimmering Skies, I that's where I personally would prefer to be. And so this might be the first ever raw Enchanted that we sell. Tiana is not one that we necessarily have a huge connection with, just haven't really got into it yet. And so that, in combination with the fact that the art just isn't our favorite, might make sense to go grab that Mufasa from Shimmering Skies that we've been waiting on. Also have some bigger Grail purchases that we've been eyeing, and so getting rid of a set card that we don't necessarily vibe with completely, I think makes sense at this time. But overall, opening Azurite Sea was a ton of fun, and it looks like we're going to have some pretty good bangers from this set as it relates to some of the playable cards and meta-defining cards. Very excited to see what Genie can do, what Calhoun can do as more supply hits the market. Where does the demand keep up? Does it outpace it? Can we see, more $10 rares like we see with the Maui and the Fishbone Quill, some of the first chapter, iconic cards? Very yet to be seen, but very, very, very interesting stuff to continue to track. We have a lot of good content coming, guys. We are going to do the market recap from October that is way overdue. We've got more details of the game expanding globally into Japan starting in 2025, which is very exciting. And then we got some box openings and things like that. So some really cool stuff coming in terms of content. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Please let me know what your thoughts are on Azurite Sea after opening it. Did you pull your Enchanted and Chase cards? And then as well as what was the vibe locally at for your market? Did you have lines to pick up the product? Was it a ghost town? Was there some fun tournaments? Just talk me through your local market sentiment as it relates to the Azurite Sea release. With that being said, guys, that is going to be it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back with some more content soon. Bye.